Hello, 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 everybody. Let's come over here to. Yep. Hey. Welcome to Critical Conversations live from Denver. It is Friday night, and
sure is.
I'll get my mantras all straight here. We are back. We're back. We're back from my vacation. And as you can see, I am joined for the first episode of 2024 by my beautiful wife, Melissa.
Hello.
We love it when she is here with us.
Aww.
Yes, we do.
Now he's talking to me like Benson. Uh-oh.
I know. Yeah. No, we're really happy to be back. I am actually really pumped right now. I'm so happy to be back. I've been waiting for this, looking forward to this for a couple weeks now. Got a lot to tell you guys about, just as far as just stuff, whatever. And maybe we'll get some cult stuff in here too, and maybe we'll get some calls. We'll see. But Happy New Year, everybody! I hope you had an awesome holiday season. I hope that Santa brought you everything that you wanted. And yay!
Thank you.
Yay, Juliana, member. So I'm yeah. I definitely feel a lot chiller than the last time we were together. And I'm going to tell you all about that. And how are you? Totally just spontaneously putting her on the spot with all these questions.
Thanks. No.
How are you feeling about the new year so far?
So far, okay. Feeling good. In December, we did massive amounts of mandatory overtime at my job. So now we're sort of back to normal a little bit, kind of. And so it's been a little chiller, and I'm happy about that. I'm not working 10+ hour days anymore.
Yeah, it was almost a matter of how much work I wasn't doing. She was picking up in overtime from her company. It was a very strange time for the holiday season because I was wandering around here kind of just being a lazy slob, and she was having to get up at like 5 a.m. It was really quite awful. I mean, it's nice to have the overtime
Yeah, it's
pay,
nice, the money. Yeah, the money I'm always okay with.
Yeah, but otherwise not so much. And I definitely felt it over December not getting stuff out. But, sometimes mental health or whatever, just taking a break, just getting your head clear is more important than anything else. And I really did miss you guys, by the way, at Science. So definitely did. Okay, so I'm glad everybody is back and we are here. And in fact, I know you guys have been waiting for this. So without further ado, also let's get you some Snuggles Not Struggles cam here.
So my sister made him a cute little outfit for Christmas, and this is what he thinks about the hat. That came with the outfit.
He is not loving that hat. Kind of like those shoes you got him.
Yeah, I tried to. It's really cold sometimes. It's below freezing, and I wanted to get him some little shoes for when he goes outside, but he just ripped those right off and started chewing on them, so didn't work out.
No, he sometimes is not into things being put on him, but he loves the sweaters.
Yeah, sweaters and stuff like that he's okay with, but the hat is just not his friend.
No, not quite as much. But but he, as you can see, he had a wonderful holiday season.
He did.
Yes, he definitely did. And he got, we're back now. He got another sweater, and he got that hat, and he got those shoes that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I got him a Santa Claus outfit. It looks like Santa Claus is riding him. He did kind of the same thing to the hat. He just tried to attack Santa Claus.
Yes, he will not be stopped or whatever. So Benson's hilarious that way. Anyway, so and he does love it all. He loves to chew on it and chomp it. He expresses a lot of love with his mouth.
Yes.
And teeth.
Yes.
He doesn't bite us. Sometimes when he gets super excited, he'll get a little bitey.
Playful, he'll get a little nippy, but he doesn't bite hard.
No, he never really.
But when you're playing with him, like with his little rope toy, oh my God, he can He's got a good grip for a little guy.
Yes, we every day every day that we can, that the weather has been good enough, which is most days, we get him out for a walk, and almost every single day we do tug of war and what
I called it tug of fetch because he likes to play a little bit of tug of war, but then when you get it away from him, he likes to run and go run after it. So
that's right. So he'll run and then he'll bring it back, and then we'll play tug of war, and then he'll let it go and I'll throw it and he'll run after it again, and back and forth. So we love our little dog. And we love sharing him with you guys. He is such a wonderful emotional support creature for our house, and not gotten or rescued for that purpose.
No,
at all. He's just such a member of our family. So so that was fun. So there's our Snuggles Not Struggles cam. Thank you, Linda, for that super chat. Very much appreciate your guys' support of the show and my work here. I very, very much appreciate it. And I'll get into a little bit more why as we go forward here. But thank you very much for that. The 5th super chat from Linda. Apparently YouTube is telling us. Great. Yes. All right. Yes. Oh, and of course, Benson's haircut.
Yeah, he did get a haircut a few weeks ago. He looks so cute.
Oh.
He's already growing hair back in weird little splotches.
Yes. Yeah, he's kind of funny.
He's a fuzzball.
He is. Okay, what to tell you guys? I'm really kind of just ad hocing this tonight a little bit. I have a plan, but oh wow, hey, thank you, Laura, for that super chat as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so I really appreciate it, guys. The vacation was necessary. I had not realized how much. Oh, thank you, Robert. Very much appreciate that too. No, thank you for anything and everything helps. It really does, guys. We really appreciate it. I really needed that vacation, right? And oh my God, did I need it? I didn't. You don't realize how much pressure is building up in your head until it starts steam. Until the steam valve opens up a little bit, and you start getting a feeling of normal again, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize, because it had been slowly building up, and that had been egged on by various social pressures I was kind of putting on myself. I'm a pretty. Would you say I'm an introspective person?
Yes.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I think about thinking a lot.
You do.
And I think about, emotions and feelings a lot and stuff, right? And I'm no longer, I don't think, trying to go out of my way to make the mistake of projecting my feelings or ideas off on everybody else, that just because I think it's true for me or happened to me, that it must have happened to everybody else. But at the same time, I try to look for commonalities, because that's what I do. And I think that there was an interesting thing happening with me in response to certain attacks and criticisms made of me on social media, and on other channels, that was really putting a lot of pressure on me in my own head that didn't need to be there. That was completely just created by me. And I needed that space and time away to kind of see that more clearly and step away from it and get more perspective. And that's the key word of, I think, cult recovery and cult involvement is perspective. Because I think perspective is what you lose when you go too deep into a thing. No matter what, a relationship, a job, even a family, or much less a cult where you really dial it up to 11. I think that we do ourselves such a disservice by diving in so deep to things. Social media, it would be another example, Juliana, of things we become too involved in. And when we do that, when we cross that line, and I think that line exists in a different place for each of us. I think how much you can tolerate is different from how much I could tolerate in different things, in different areas, right? It all depends on our triggers and our emotional needs. But I think that that we can lose that perspective by getting in too involved, too stressed out, too anxious, too worried, too fearful. And that is that becomes a self-generating machine of awful, negative self-imaging or negative self-talk, like what we've talked about, right? Like that whole, I suck, I'm awful, I'm no good at this, I shouldn't be doing this, whatever it is. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about, YouTubing and educating and talking to people here like we're doing now. But it could apply to anything, I think. And I think that that getting that time away, I think vacations and time offs and everything, and even New Year's resolutions and New Year's, which also fits into this today, right? New beginnings for 2024, is letting that steam out, letting that pressure out, and I think whether you get it through therapy or whether you get it by taking walks or whether you do it by watching TV or playing video games or going and punching bags or going, or whatever, hiking, something positive that you can direct that energy toward or release that, right? I think that is everything for our kind of emotional resets that we need sometimes, And that's what I feel like taking this time away for was so useful to me to start with, because it was really hard. I'll just tell you guys a little bit about the time. Because I got to go visit my family. Yeah. And that was awesome. I talked to my mom a lot. I talk to my brother fairly more often now than ever before by texting and stuff. But it's never a substitute for going and seeing them. And when you love your family and you're not scared of your family and the ideological, conversations, they're going to happen over the turkey, right? Where you think it's going to, they're going to food fight or a riot's going to break out. We don't have that kind of family. And so we do have different views on things, but we're kind of okay with that. And of course, as we should be, as it's supposed to be. I think families who are all on the same page are just as boring and awful as cults who are all on the same page. It's like there should be
some differences
of opinions,
Yeah.
So getting out there and meeting and seeing them again and meeting my niece. I wish I brought pictures. I should have thought to bring a picture.
She's so cute. Chubby cheeks.
Oh, so chubby. And she's so quiet and so cute. And she was like 8 months old, around now, 8 or 9 months old at this point. And just a little cute as a little button. And then seeing Cooper, my nephew who's 6, and just hanging out with the family. And chilling out there for about 4 days. I went out there hanging with my mom, hanging with him, getting some perspective on California. Haven't been out there in years, and that kind of thing. It was nice. It was really, really nice. But my mind was half consumed with the problems still of the channel and the this and the that, because I had just gotten away. And so even flying away and you bring your phone with you and suddenly all your awful is coming with you,
Can't run away.
No. And then I got back and there was more bullshit, and then I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. So it was about another week before I finally ejected fully, right? I think it was the third week, the week of like Christmas or something. Sort of this week before Christmas, I guess, right? Where I just kind of was really able to let go, didn't do anything on any channel work, didn't do anything on anything. I just video games. And I have a video game to tell you guys about, by the way. I want your feedback on something, because I've got an idea for some channel stuff, and I want to ask you guys about this. Well, actually, let me just do it right now. So one of the things I really enjoyed doing while I was off was playing a video game on Steam that I found, which has just come out fairly recently, which is called Cult of the Lamb. L-A-M-B, as in a lamb, as in a, And this game, Cult of the Lamb, is outrageous. It is insane. It's this little resource management game where you have to become basically the first lieutenant or first, the David Miscavige to an L. Ron Hubbard demonic cult figure. It's all demons and it's pretty adult stuff. as far as some of the themes of it go. It's not, there's death and violence and stuff in this game. You are in a bad cult with a demonic cult leader, and you're the guy who is, as the hero of this game, you're creating a cult of these little animal creatures. It's all very, very cute. I mean, it's sickeningly cute, even the little animal noises and everything. And you build up this cult, and you have a cult property, and it's like a farm, and you get farming going, and you get all these little guys busy, and you have to keep up their faith in you by feeding them and keeping them happy and dealing with their requests. So it's and I started playing it because I was wondering, how well do they do at this game at the cult mechanics? Is it real? Do they really put the stuff in there about what cult leaders have to deal with and do? And they do. They got so much stuff in there about loyalty and retention and how you get them, but then you have to keep them, and how you have to keep them happy, and then they grow old and die on you. You got to go get new ones. And so it's this constant thing of keeping up a cult. And while you're doing that, you're also trying to go and kill off these 4 big bosses, and thereby bring your cult leader, your demonic, god figure, back into the world so he can take over the cult. And so I'm not going to spoil the end of the game or the payoff or anything, but it can go in different directions by your choice as the cult leader, and you can choose along the way to take a more, you end up creating cult doctrine and dogma along the way. The game gives you choices of, do you want to do this or do you want to do this? And you can go in a kind of a good reward your followers kind of fashion, or you can go into a penalize and take the money from them and terrorize them and control them through terror. So I was trying a more pacifistic, peaceful version. So I only ended up having to kill off 9 of them to satisfy my god. So it was all in good fun, and it is a fun game. And anyway, I thought, I played it all the way through. I really enjoyed it, and I was thinking, if I don't know if this is something I totally want to do or would even be useful, but if y'all want to watch me play the game or see me play it, I could stream that to the channel here, and perhaps talk about
no, you don't get to meet Xenu in there.
and maybe talk about cult stuff in it along the way, right? Because there's actually cult dynamics and mechanics in the game built into it, and it's really quite interesting. It's hours of gaming to get through the whole thing from beginning to end, but it might be kind of fun just to do that as a pastime. Nothing serious. Anyway, going to throw that out there for you guys. You let me know in the comments, or if you guys are watching this on replay, let me know in the comments to the video what you think of that, because it would be a bit of trouble to set all that up. But if because I'd have to set up like a Twitch channel or stream or something, and then get that over to YouTube. But it would be fun, and I could narrate along the way as to what the game is about and how it works and the culty stuff. So anyway, that was kind of one thing I did with my time. I know you enjoyed watching me play that. No, you didn't.
I barely watched you play it, but okay.
Yeah. You could have. Well,
I watched you a little bit.
Yeah.
But not like every day.
No, not every day. Yeah. No, of course not. Okay, so yes. All right, so we're going to do that. Now, the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys, and something I'm really excited about, is the new podcast name and branding and everything, right? So basically, the Sensibly Speaking podcast is posting tomorrow under a new title, new image, new branding called Speaking of Cults. Now, I don't have the website totally sorted. I think it will be in the next 24, 48 hours, where if you go to sensiblyspeaking.com, it will take you to the website it does right now, which is my podcast. But as of, I think, tomorrow or the next day, it'll kick in where it'll go, if you type in speakingofcults.com, it'll take you to that podcast. And so I'm going to have both names kind of kept there for the sake of people being able to find it for a while. But yeah, that's hilarious. But but it will now be referred to as, and I am putting it out there as the Speaking of Cults ... right? Podcast. That's what it is now. I've got a new image for it. I designed a new little intro graphic for it. I've got a new little disclaimer at the beginning of the show now. I tried to up my game a little bit. And so that's coming tomorrow, right? That'll post on Saturdays as it has been. And I think you guys will dig the first episode. I kind of sat down and did a full review and breakdown of basically everything that I can think of to say about what a cult is. What is a destructive cult? Let's go through the characteristics of it. Let's relate it to the emotional needs. Let's talk about coercive control. I brought all of that into the conversation, or the monologue, I guess, is for this week. It was just me. You'll see I've already got 3 shows in the can right now for the coming weeks. And I think you guys are really going to like them. There's one where I have Yuval Leor back, and we're talking about Hubbard's temporal lobe epilepsy. And then I've also got, I think next week will be me and Apostate Alex talking about some stuff, also Scientology related. It's kind of funny because the first 2 of the 3 will be Scientology related, and yet a lot of this podcast moving forward is going to be not directed toward or talking about Scientology at all. It's going to be moving in this, it's going to be about a much broader application of coercive control and cultic ideas and recovery from cults. That's what this channel is really, really going to be focusing on a lot this year. I have a lot to say about this, and I've been talking to people, writing stuff down, of course, hearing from them about their recovery, that kind of thing. And I want to put a lot of stuff together here on this channel for that. Because I want this channel has basically been sort of, I hope this all makes sense. I think it does. This channel has kind of been a product on all of itself. It's like, here's this education for you, boom, right? Or here's this interview for you, boom. Or here's this exposure of this cult, right? And that's it. That's what I'm doing. And I've tried to sell some merch or try to do this, try to do that along the way, right? I got this book, and it's a very good book. And if you haven't read this book, you should read this book. That kind of thing, right? But I think the thing that I am kind of convinced of now that I can do that is more than this is the consultation that I offer to people. And I've been consulting over this time that I took off. I stayed in touch with I was consulting with some people. I do it internationally. I mean, I've got people in other countries I'm talking to. Everything is completely confidential. I don't talk about anything going on in the consultations. I don't do therapy. I'm not pretending to do therapy. There is no way, shape, or form am I doing therapy. I am doing consultation. But the feedback on it is so positive, and it seems that the work is so natural and frankly kind of fun for me to do, in that I really enjoy helping people one-on-one. And I think I have not ever forgotten what that feels like, because I've been doing it for years, but doing it this way in a more formalized kind of process. And there's sort of an agreement of what we're doing, and I'm trying to assist. It's not just, having conversations as such. It's a service I can provide. And I want this channel to sort of focus attention in that direction, so that you all know I'm available for you. So if you need one-on-one or want one-on-one assistance, help, guidance, education, whatever, I'm here for that, right? And I want you all to know that, and I'm going to keep putting that messaging out there this year. So,
all right.
So there's that. Now, what are you smiling at me about?
I'm just smiling.
Okay. Thought she had something. I'm sitting here going on and on at a mad rate. Do you know what I totally spaced on? Do you have a quote?
Yes, I do. I was waiting for a good moment to bring that up.
Perfect.
All right. So, it's the new year, new beginnings, all that, blah, blah, blah. So here's a
Yes.
quote on that topic. Nothing is predestined. The obstacles of your past can become the gateways that lead to new beginnings. Ralph Blum. I think that's how you say his last name.
Nice. What do you take from that?
Just that you can't let your past hold you back. You have to just move forward, keep going, keep trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What are you seeing for, I mean, the holiday season wasn't exactly restful for you. So I know there wasn't a lot of like reflection and thinking and, I got that, right?
Yeah.
So I know it was a bit rougher for you, but what are your thinking about 2024 and about,
I just want to do more creative stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, and hopefully get a higher paying job.
Well, it's in the works.
Yes.
So we will see. Yes, exactly. It's in the works. So we'll see what this brings. And yes, I did see that comment. Yeah, I definitely would love to bring Mitch back on. He is definitely rolling full speed on his channel. He's doing great. It's actually really kind of funny and cool to watch him with his very pro, thumbnails and his work that he's doing, and he's doing shorts, and he's on TikTok, and he's here and he's there. It's awesome. So I'm really go, Mitch. More power to you, man. I think that's awesome. Just like Alex is out there just making things happen, and he's just like this rocket. He's just going. And it's inspiring watching that. It really is. But I'm gonna tell you guys that that this 2013. This is what I kind of wanted. There's another thing I was going to talk about tonight. Is let me make sure okay, good. So again, 2013 was when I got out of Scientology mentally and physically. By the end of 2013, I was declared a suppressive person. I think I got that on the 17th of December in 2013. I was called up and told, you are a suppressive person. So I guess it's 10 years.
Yeah, a little over
right?
10 years.
10 years that I've been declared a suppressive as of December 17th.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was February, I believe February 17th, that I then appeared for the first time on YouTube on Surviving Scientology, Karen De La Carriere, her YouTube channel.
Oh.
And she flew me out to LA.
Wow.
And this was the first time I met her. She reached out to me and she was like, hey, you want to tell your story? And I was like, yes, I do. And I didn't have a YouTube channel yet at the beginning of 2014. Which is now 10 years ago today. I hadn't yet started a YouTube channel. In February is going to be 10 years of me. February 17th will be the 10-year anniversary of me actually speaking out with this face and this name broadly, openly, publicly.
Wow.
Up until that date, it had all been anonymous. I'd been posting some articles on Mike Rinder's blog and on Tony Ortega's website. And so I hadn't even met Melissa yet.
Nope. That was a
couple years after.
Yeah.
That's right. This was when I was still out in Minnesota that this all went down. And so in 2014, in February, when I did that public appearance, a few months later is when I started my own YouTube channel. I think it was April or May 2014, and I believe that's what it was. Thank you, Linda, for that super chat. Oh, SP birthday, thank you. Yeah, and so I guess where I'm going with this is that this time right now that we are in is my sort of 10 years out for real, like out. I'm no longer a Scientologist. And I think it's fitting that 10 years out, I move on, right? It's like, okay, we've covered it in so much detail. So I wanted to publicly put my plans out here as a pressure point for myself to sort of, now that I've said it, I need to do it. I'm assigning a specific time to this so that this is going to happen. And when these things happen, this is the roadmap for the first few months of my channel here. And what we're doing this year. And so I've decided, and I really don't know that I have the time to do this, but I'm going to figure it out anyway. At the end of February, I am going to do a live stream with you y'all, and I'm going to do that whole tone scale presentation that way. And it's going to get done. It's going to be a one and done, boom, finished, over. So I'm re-scripting it with, I've already got this whole script I showed you. That was a real thing. It's still a real thing. I'm going to change that around to fit for a live stream format. There will be some, probably if I get this planned properly and do it right, big fingers crossed on that, but I'm really hoping I can do this. I will have some pre-recorded stuff in there as well. So we'll be doing live, but we'll also have some pre-planned stuff to turn on during the live stream. And I will walk you guys through what the tone scale is, how it works in Scientology, how it's used for control, to coercively control the membership of Scientology in a number of ways. How it is used to evaluate non-Scientologists in incredibly negative and biased ways to help create the us versus them of Scientology, and what emotions really are and are about, and how should we be thinking about them, and how is Scientology and its false and misinformation about it skewing that picture to make every single Scientologist somebody who is really not in control of their own emotional life and actually at a sort of fear of their own emotions. That's what this whole thing is going to cover. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to do that. I've been looking forward to it for literally years, and I know I've been promising that for a long time. So the point is that at the end of February, we're doing that. And come hell or high water, we're going to do a live stream, and we're going to throw that out there. Now, the even tougher target I've given myself is, because I don't have it fully written yet, is 2 months later, I want to do the same thing with the e-meter. And that'll mean you and me are going to be shooting some videos and doing some stuff. I've, again, had this in planning for years. I'm putting it out here for everybody now so that you'll know it's coming, but also to pressure myself to get it done, because that's just what I need. So, that's going to be a full breakdown and review on the e-meter, and I think you guys will dig that too, because there's a lot to say about that little cryptic, mythic device and all of the sacred science wrapped up in it in Scientology. There's an incredible amount of lore in Scientology about the e-meter, and it's all of it, complete and total and utter nonsense. The fact of the matter is that that device operates at random more often than not. And the readings and responses that are being picked up by the auditors don't mean anything at all. But we can make it make sense. We can make it be real. Your mind can do incredible things to confirm your belief. And that's so much of what the e-meter is about. And people even coming out of Scientology, even in the after Scientology world, people have such myths about this device. And you see independent Scientologists who still fall for it. There are people who have spent hundreds of hours putting together electronic e-meters on the web that you can connect to on USB. It's crazy, right? How wrapped up people get. I was talking earlier about getting too involved in something so you can't see the forest for the trees and you lose all perspective. And the e-meter is probably one of the biggest, most fundamental elements or pieces of the Scientology con. And so I can't step away from that topic or subject without delivering on that and breaking that whole thing down. Like I said, I've been promising it for years. I've been researching it for years. I mean, it's not even like I've got all the answers totally figured out, but I've got some pretty good and pretty educated guesses in a few areas, and some things I've completely nailed. And so I'm very happy about all that, and we're gonna put all that together.
Yeah. So I noticed some comments in the chat about this.
Oh, yeah. Please tell them. Yeah.
I'm type 1 diabetic, for those of you that didn't know. And this is an Omnipod. It's a little pod filled with about 3 days worth of insulin. And it pumps that insulin into me on a regular basis. And it connects up with my CGM. I'm not going to show you that right now because that's on my stomach. But that connects up with my continuous glucose monitor, and they kind of talk to each other and balance out the insulin and stuff to usually keep my blood sugar in control.
There we go. Yes, I have learned so very much about diabetes living with Melissa. It has been such an education.
Yeah.
And a really good one. I mean, it's one of those things where you learn something or you learn about a thing that you had no idea about that affects millions of people all around you all day, every day. And you just don't have any appreciation for it at all. It's almost like it enters into a realm of when you don't know about it, don't understand it. It's like sort of this perception blindness. You don't even see it. You're not even aware of it, and other people, have, needs, right? You're at work. You need to take a break, right? It's not an option.
Yeah.
And because people are so ignorant or they just don't even see it or think about it. They think it's, the immediate thought is, no, it's denial. It's weird. It's weird how that happens.
I've had, especially in retail, a lot of bosses that did not get it, where I'm like, I'm low, I need a break. And they're like, too bad. And I'm like, yeah, well, you get to pay for the ambulance ride then.
Yeah.
Taking a break.
Exactly. So, so there we go with that. So that's where we're going. Those are my immediate plans. I'm not going to share anything further than that because I've already, overpromised on other things and underdelivered for years. So no reason to give you more of my plans for this year, but I have many more. Excuse me. And I really hope if I can even pull off half of them, I think 2024 is going to be amazing. One of the things that is already, I don't know if this hits you guys with your New Year's resolutions and plans and goals, but there's always, you have to leave some room. I never hear anybody say this in giving advice. I never hear anybody say this, so I'm going to say this. I never hear anyone say, you have to have some allowance for the random bullshit that's going to hit you in life.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Right? Like, everybody's so Tom Cruise about success, Grant Cardone, right? You just have to vision it and it will happen, and you just go, and you don't accept any, right? And you don't accept any excuses, any reasons not to. There's nothing that's standing in your way. Anything that gets in your way, you just ignore it. And then you're like, okay, well, my car just broke down, so I don't know that I can ignore that. And I'm going to have to deal with that. And so you got to have to factor that into your thinking for your plans, for the year and stuff, Anyway, it's not exactly words of wisdom, but just wanted to share that. Cause it's going to happen. Random stuff, right? Things you can't control.
Out of nowhere.
I've been thinking a lot about control and the fact that we are such control freaks in the United States about our lives.
Yes. And
we don't give ourselves the fact of the randomness.
Or other people. We're very like, oh, something bad happened in your life. It's your own fault. You should have prepared for that. You should have known. And you're just like, how could you have known?
Exactly. How could you have known? But if you allow for some randomness, if you allow for some of that stuff, it doesn't throw you off totally. It's like you pack up your plans, but leave some gaps, leave some spaces, because you're going to have stuff come up that's going to screw it all up. And that has to be part of it anyway. I'm trying to allow for that, and moving forward on the channel here, I guess is why I'm thinking about this, because I don't have some solid plan, but I've got very very specific things that I want to get done this year anyway, and I think you guys are going to like it. Now, we should open the phone lines if y'all want to come in and talk to us, 984-214-4154. And it's been a while. So, of course, if you want to throw any questions or anything our way, and I do mean our way, happy to consider take some of that, right? I just wanted to kind of data dump here about my time off and everything. And so anyway, like I said, 984-214-4154. If you want to call in, we can throw our headphones on. And, I hope there's not too much COVID going on out there this season.
Ugh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh. One of my uncles just recently had it, and he had to take a medication for it that made him get sores in his mouth. And
oh, no.
My dad's brother. And I'm just like, the medicine makes you worse than the disease, I guess. One of those kind of situations. Oh, no. He's fine now, but...
Okay, so here's a funny question. What experiences do you have about the Rose Parade, and have you been to the Wrigley Mansion in Pasadena? Well, funny you should ask, because I haven't given the Wrigley Mansion a second thought since I went there, I think in 6th grade. So what an interesting question. I have been there, and it was interesting. We lived, as far as the Rose Parade part, this is the more interesting part of my answer, I think. We lived, the first house that my parents bought ever as a couple was in Pasadena, which is where I grew up. And we lived about 1.5 miles away from the Arroyo Seco area where the Rose Bowl is located, and where about 1 mile or 2 down the road from there is this great, big, huge warehouse facility where they build all the Rose Parade floats. All of them get built in there, and all the rose petals get glued on for weeks, maybe months. I don't know how long they're open there. And they do this whole thing. And the night before the Rose Parade, we got the Rose Parade because they had to take all those floats and drive them to the staging area to do the parade, and they drove right past our house. So we would just sit there and watch all the floats go by the night before New Year's, and get a whole sneak preview of the Rose Parade. So there you go. And we have a caller in the queue, so we're going to pick this up. All right. Is this Henny?
It is. Hello, Chris, Melissa. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sweetheart, and Happy New Year to the crew. I really miss you guys. I can't tell you how much.
Aw.
Really.
Aw. Well,
So
we won't be disappearing this much again for a while, so you'll have us for a while.
Chris, knowing you, I know that to be true. It'll be another 10 years before you take the break.
I know, right? I know. I'm horrible.
But no, listen, I'm so glad that you did, because you really needed it. Everybody, especially as hard as you work and as much as you've given.
Thank you.
You really need to have rejuvenated and taken care of yourself and visited family and got to play video games. I'm so happy for you. I really am.
Yay.
And I really didn't have much to say. I mean, I'm so glad to hear about all the new prospects and projects that you have on the horizon. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I'm going to try to get on that new podcast name that you have tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, that'll post here as usual. So you'll be able to see it on video on my channel here, just like you've been watching Sensibly Speaking. And it should, and then the audio podcast should be staying on the same subscription, same feed. So there shouldn't be any changes if you're subscribed to the Sensibly Speaking podcast, say on Apple Podcasts or something like that, right? It'll change the name over time, but for now it should be still the same.
Okay, that's great. Well, I'm really looking forward to, new ideas, new concepts.
Yeah.
New conversations. I think that's really terrific.
Thank you.
I really do.
Excellent.
And I'm just so proud of you, and I'm glad to be a part of this, of your show and of your family. I really am. And
Thanks,
that
honey.
makes me very happy. And to everybody, I wish you guys a happy new year, a healthy, and that's what I had to say.
Awesome. Thanks, Henny. Happy New Year to
thank
you.
Oh,
So happy that you're with
thank
us.
you. I'm so glad. And give Benson hugs and love from me.
Oh,
Big time. Big time. All right.
Okay,
Talk to you
guys.
soon.
Yes, you will. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
All
Bye.
right. Cool. All right. Good. So let's see. Where are we at here? Yeah. Phone line's still open. If y'all want to call in and have a quick call, we can absolutely do that. Happy to hear about anything, by the way. You want to ask any questions or you want to talk about anything cult related, coercive control related, channel related, whatever. I'm down. This is the show for conversations. And I do like having them. Okay, good. Yeah, Wrigley Mansion. Jesus, I hadn't even thought about Wrigley Mansion since I was like, I think that if I'm remembering right, that's the place that I saw the Gutenberg Bible. I think they had a copy of a Gutenberg Bible there, and other. Or am I thinking? No, hang on. I think I'm thinking about a different place. Maybe Huntington Library. Yeah, I might be thinking about a different place, actually. Maybe I haven't been to Wrigley Mansion. Okay, might have to take my answer back on that one, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, yes. I wanted to clarify something about emotional needs. I brought this up in the podcast. You guys will hear this in the podcast tomorrow a bit in more detail, but I wanted to clear up something because I talk about this a lot. And I wanted to be clear that I'm not talking about emotional reactions. Emotional reactions like, being angry at something or sad about a thing that just happened is not the same thing as an emotional need. That's a reaction that's happening in your body in the moment in response to something going on, right? Either something going on internally where you're internally sad or internally angry, or externally where, maybe internally where you just thought of something or you're reminded of something, you're triggered, this kind of thing. Or there's external, which is generally where emotional reactions come from, right? Somebody does something or, somebody says some stupid shit and you get all pissed off, right? And, there we go. We're getting hit with a random ad in our show here. And emotional needs are a longer term thing. And I wanted to put that out there for y'all. It's not about an in the moment reaction. That's not necessarily how cult recruitment works as such, right? They are producing emotional reactions in you. But the source of those emotional reactions that they're looking for, right? They're trying to, you go in and you go talk to a cult recruiter and they're trying to draw out of you, or even, I'll tell you, this even applies to a psychic. You go talk to some psychic or some, con person, some mentalist or something, and they're going to draw out your emotional feelings about a thing, right? Well, that's all fine, and they can get you in some state of mind in the moment with that. Oh, wow, Laura, thank you again. Oh, we'll definitely, yes, thank you, Laura. I will definitely address that question. So the emotional reactions are one thing, but emotional needs are something we all have. And you could kind of think of them as buckets that you carry around with you in your mind or psychologically or something, right? We all have different size buckets for the different categories of the emotional needs, but we all have them. And I don't think there's anybody who is completely immune to any one of them or doesn't experience them in some way. We all experience, for example, a sense of community in some fashion, even if that community is a community of one, even if that community is your dog, and that's the only person or living being you're in touch with at all. It's still community, and you still need and want that. You probably would want more if that's all you had. Yeah. But there's a need for connection, for community, for feeling that you are a place, you have a place amongst a group of people, and that there's connection, compassion, tolerance, understanding, that you can be listened to and you can listen, et cetera, et cetera. Those are emotional needs. They're longer term issues. And I just wanted to clarify that, because sometimes I think it gets a little confused.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Now, Laura, you asked a great question here. You may not want to discuss this, but I'm curious about your thoughts on what's happening at the recruitment center on Hollywood Boulevard. I thought this would come up, and I am totally happy to talk about this. Because I'm not particularly down with it, right? And I know it's extremely popular and it gets millions of views, apparently literally millions of views. And so who am I to criticize this? But I do, because I don't see the usefulness of it. It looks like something that is being done for clicks and for likes and for attention, and let's all peer in at the ridiculous Scientologists, and let's stop them from recruiting people by getting in their way on the street. And obviously, as long as nobody's engaging in criminal activity, it's not something I can say is bad or wrong. But it's not like it's helping anybody particularly. Maybe it's helping keep a few people from going into the test center. I mean, sure, fair enough. Maybe that's an effect of that, is you have people on Hollywood Boulevard who are trying to bring people into the Scientology building, and disrupting that process is certainly, fine, great. But do you really think you're bringing David Miscavige to his knees with that? Right? Do you really think you're helping Leah's cause by being a jerk to Scientologists or Sea Org members and yelling and screaming at them and treating them as though they're, some kind of monster or something? It seems to me to be misdirected energy. It feels to me like there could be other things of a much more effective and positive nature being done with that energy. But it just so happens that energy is all about, doing something and making an impact, and we're going to disrupt them, and we're going to get that cult, right? And they get people, and this sort of tit for tat attitude that I've seen some people express as well. And I'm not watching this stuff very closely. I'm really commenting from a distance. So if I'm getting anything wrong, I'm happy to be corrected. I really am. I'm just shooting from the hip here a little bit in answering this. I figured it would come up, and y'all know how I feel about, angry, righteous, indignant, and attacking kind of protests and kind of demonstrations against Scientology. I think it only enables the Scientology beliefs even more, and it only proves to the Scientologists and the Sea Org members that the world outside Scientology is dangerous and must be avoided, and it puts them more into the Scientology shell. They retreat more into that. They double down on it, and it reaffirms their beliefs. And so if you think that you're doing a good thing by disrupting these Sea Org members from doing their job, well, in the moment, you are doing the favor of keeping people who are on Hollywood Boulevard from walking into a test center. But I'm telling you, we're talking about a handful of people who are going to walk in there anyway. And it's not like they're doing great big booming business on Hollywood Boulevard, and Scientology is flourishing and growing like never before these people came along, and now they've disrupted all of their Hollywood activities. That's not what's happening. That's not what's happening at all. There wasn't anything going on already. And now we're going to make a big kerfluffle about it, and we're going to get a lot of views and a lot of attention on it. And aren't we clever, and aren't we wonderful, right? And anyway, I think I just expressed how I feel about that. So
there's a call in the queue.
Oh, there's a call in the queue. All right. Let us pick this up. Hello, is this Diane?
Yes. I think you already answered my question about what did you think about the whole new TikTok live, YouTube thing going on in California. So, yeah, you pretty much already answered that.
Okay. All right, Diane, thank you. Did you have any thoughts about anything I said? Am I off the rails? Am I looking at what do you think? Am I missing anything?
I mean, I do think there is some value to what they're doing.
Yeah, tell me. What are your thoughts on this?
honestly would have to think about it.
Okay.
But I would think that so many people kind of, in an odd way, supporting them. But I guess it doesn't come off as supporting them. Oh.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah, no, it's you know what? It is confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a little. Okay, well.
So, yeah, I would have to think on it, and thank you.
No problem.
For taking my call.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was cool. Yeah, no, I'm happy to talk about that, and I'm more than happy to consider different opinions about this, okay? I'm not like, okay, well, this is just how it is, and screw anybody who thinks otherwise. I'd really like to know why people think this is a really good idea, because I just don't get it. But the way I look at it is I'm looking at it at an individual level, what's happening in the eyes of the Sea Org members, what's happening in the eyes of public who are around there, Scientologists, and Scientologists who see this. What do they think when they see this? Well, I'll tell you what they think. They think that the people who are filming are a bunch of SPs, and they think the people that watch and laugh at this are basically kind of twisted evil people, and they just don't get it. They just don't understand what it is we Scientologists are trying to do. And it's just their reactive minds in full bloom, and we just get just more crap we got to deal with and trying to clear the planet. That's what goes on in their heads, at least from my experience of that in that time and place, right? So I don't think it's really that helpful in that sense. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to wrap up.
We sure are.
Okay. I do not have a moderator. We are self-moderating.
Right.
We are all the moderators we need. I've seen various flaps and kerfuffles. I love that word. I keep thinking I'm mispronouncing it horribly, though. I have seen moderator issues on other channels or whatever, and I've always scratched my head about that because I'm like, why do they need moderators?
Maybe some people get more
trolls or whatever.
Trolls, yeah.
Maybe so. Fair enough, right? Maybe I'm just blessed in that I don't get trolled a lot. I've had it a couple times, but we just click and off they go. Yeah, fair enough. And yes, I do get it on more eyes on the cult. That is true. There is a net positive there in that, and I absolutely acknowledge it. Right, millions of people via TikTok or whatever can see the ridiculousness of Scientology, can see that somebody is standing up to them, and I get that is a positive message for them against cult activity, right? And so I get that. I guess I'm just thinking in terms of what real world results. Beyond the social media awareness, does that activate anybody? Is there a call to action of any kind? Is there something that they're supposed to then watch this and go, I need to contact my state representatives, or I need to do, what is it they're supposed to do with this increased awareness? And if that can be channeled, please do channel it in some positive direction. I'd very much like to see that. Yeah, so there you go. Okay. Oh, yeah, we can go over my my thesis. It's not my bachelor's thesis, my master's thesis.
Just to make that clear.
Just to be clear. No, I would be happy to go over that in more detail. I have basically sort of explained some of it over time. I think I've broken most of it down, but maybe not, actually. Good point. Good call. I will, we'll see about that. Okay, good. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up. Now, did we have,
cards.
God, it's been so long. So many weeks. I forget everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is our deck of critical thinking cards with cognitive biases and logical fallacies all throughout. And this week's logical fallacy is...
Confirmation bias.
You
favor things that confirm your existing beliefs. We are primed to see and agree with ideas that we are primed to see and agree with ideas that fit our preconceptions, and to ignore and dismiss information that conflicts with them. The first principle is that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Richard Feynman.
I love that Feynman quote.
Yeah.
I love that Feynman quote. Because he's the guy, quantum physicist, who was like, yeah, anybody who's telling you they understand quantum physics
lying.
Doesn't understand quantum physics. Nobody understands quantum physics. Anyway, he's wonderful. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming around and listening to us blabber on him for an hour or so. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Your wonderful help with the show. And watch for Speaking of Cults podcast dropping right here on this channel tomorrow. And Critical Q&A pre-recorded this week. Not going live. I swear. I swear we are not going live. It'll be pre-recorded tomorrow and dropped on Sunday as usual. And we will be back to it fully this weekend, back to schedule. And you'll have After Scientology Straight Up and Vertical on Monday with Tony Ortega as usual. So at least that's the plan for right now. I'm going to be shooting all that stuff this weekend. I will see you guys soon. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.